Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Abedons TV. Abedons TV is a platform for people all over the world to share their testimony.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Abedons TV. Today we have a wonderful guest here with us, and he's going to share his testimony with us. He goes by the name Emmanuel Oduro, and we would like him to introduce himself to us today.
Yeah, hello, lovely people. My name is Pastor Emmanuel Oduro.
Pastor.
That is my name. And I was born in New Adibiasi, in Ashanti region, Ghana. At that time, my father and my mom, they are pastors, right? So they were there and they gave birth to me. Actually, my mom is from Asante Bekwai, and my father too is from Oase. So, in Ashanti region and Ashantis, we trace our line from our motherline. So basically, I'm from Bekwai. Yeah, so that is the little background. Born in New Adibiasi, Ashanti region, and my parents, my mom is from Ashanti Bekwai.
Okay, so where do you currently live?
Yeah, I live in the U.S., New Jersey, Newark.
Okay.
Where I live. Yeah.
And what is your ministry?
Okay, so interesting. God has called me to be a preacher this end time. And last year, I was in Ghana. I spent my time on the mountains to pray.
Okay.
And the word of the Lord came to me. And what God made me to understand is that go out, tell people about me, preach the gospel.
So kind of like evangelizing.
Right,
Okay.
right. But the same way, I'm also in Assemblies of God. I'm taking courses to be an Assemblies of God ordained pastor.
Nice.
But I have, and now I'm on the probation, so I also have the title as a pastor.
So where is your church currently located?
Now I work with my father. The church is in Patterson, New Jersey.
Patterson.
Yeah, that is where we are. And God is doing great things.
That's good. Can you also tell us a little bit about your social life, like school background, marriage, status? I'm sure people want to know.
Right. Interesting. So school, I was in Ghana. I came to the U.S. when I was 21 years.
Okay.
So I was in Ghana. I went to a lot of schools, but I think I completed my JSS in Matters of Uganda.
Okay.
Kumasi,
Okay.
Santasi, close to Opokuwari.
Okay.
And I went to Agri Memorial in Cape Coast. Yeah, it was a very nice experience, and God really did a whole lot of great things there too. So yeah, and I came here. I was in Essex County, and by His grace, I'm done with it. I'm taking some courses, as I told you.
What degree do you have now?
Yeah, I have a criminal justice.
Oh, okay.
Criminal justice degree. Yeah.
Criminal justice degree. Okay. So I guess my other question would be, when did you actually start, or when did you actually feel like God called you into the ministry?
Okay, the truth.
Is it because you're a pastor's son, so everybody expects you to be in the ministry, or did you actually feel the call of God on your life?
The most important thing is, when I was a kid,
Right.
anytime that anyone calls me and asks me, Emma, what will you do in future? The first thing that I say is that I'll be a pastor.
Wow.
And I didn't know what I was saying then. I keep on saying it, but when I go to high school, the honest truth is that I forgot about that. I wasn't thinking about being a preacher.
It because of your peers? Peer pressure?
I think it may be part, but when you are growing, sometimes you think of different things to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Your exposure, because of your exposure, that might have also had an effect on where you want to be.
Right. So, but I remember we had a program, and there was this prophet, wherever he is, I salute him, Prophet Albert, and Eastern Region Koforidria. He called me out and he told me that, my brother, don't run away from what God has called you for. you are called to be a pastor. You are called to do the work of God.
And you were in high school?
Yeah, that time I was in high school. I had a year to complete high school.
Wow.
And he told me that, and at the moment that he told me that, then I came back and said, okay, I'm ready for God's move, or I want to do it now.
Right.
But I always sit down and I was asking myself, where do I start? And few days after that, I had the chance to come to the US. I came to the US, and sometimes that one too is a whole lot. When I came to US, friends, people that you meet, and even work, it got to a time that I even forgot about what God has called me for. But I just thank God. I'm grateful to Him, and He always speaks to me. He always reminds me of what He has called me for. And to God be the glory. Now I'm here, and we just bless His name.
Amen. 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 Wow, that's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question would be, after the man prophesied unto you and he gave you that knowledge about what God has called you to do,
Right.
what are some of the steps that you took or are taking in order to pursue that?
Okay, one thing that is about me that I can never look down to. I just bless the name of the Lord. My father is a man of prayer. He prays a lot, and I always have that zeal. I'm never lazy when it comes to prayer.
That's good.
I can pray till the time that I want to stop praying.
Right.
So that is one thing. So I really spend my time in prayer, and that drew me close to what God has called me for. So that is the main thing that I would say is that is prayer. I spend my time in prayer and studying the Word of God.
Because of your zeal for God, right? Did you, when you're among your peers and stuff, did you ever feel like you were the oddball? Because you were pursuing something that people nowadays, the youth are trying to get away from. Did you ever feel like you're the odd one in the group? Did you ever feel like, oh, they might think of me as the corny one, or look at me funny because I'm not like them,
Right. The beautiful thing is that wherever that I go, I may have one or two people that will not agree with me, but I also have people that do understand where God has called me or what God wants to do in my life. Sometimes I remember when we were in Agri, anytime that I raise something, I will say, oh, they're why almost suffer, right? And they'll just put that thing away. But now, even in the US, when I came, it was happening. Whenever I found myself, oh, let's go party, I'll never go, I'll never be there. I've felt that before, but I was never discouraged. Because one thing in the book of Daniel, the Bible says, and Daniel purpose in his heart that he would never defile himself, right, in a foreign land. So one thing that has kept me is that very scripture, that Daniel purpose in his heart that he would never defile himself in a foreign land.
Right.
Although he was not in the land that God planted him,
right,
but he never thought of anything that would disconnect the relationship that he had with God.
Right.
Yeah, so sometimes, one thing that we have to even understand is that man will never accept you.
Right.
You get to places that people will reject you, but it's part of life.
Right.
So I was okay with that.
So what are some of the things that you, I guess, when you were getting those negative feedbacks, or when people were looking at you in a funny way, what are some of the things that you did to make sure that you're on a narrow, on the straight path, to not divert and follow the crowd?
Oh yeah, I think I've said it. I pray, I read the scripture, and I always look to some great men of God.
Okay.
And whenever I look at them, I say, okay, it's possible, I can make it. I'm talking about Bishop Charles Hajinasari. He's a wonderful man of God that I always want to listen to. We have Pastor Istuda Naba, very powerful man of God. Bishop Duncan Williams, and even my father. Right. So whenever I look at these great people, I always say it's possible. So I shouldn't listen to what people are saying.
Okay. Wow. That's really amazing. It's good that, we like to get a little background before we dive into people sharing their testimonies.
Right.
But this is the time when we start, people usually get into their testimonies. So this is the part where you can share with us a part of something that God has done for you that you think would make if you share with us, it will be an impact to someone that's probably going through the same thing that you've been through. So what is something that you've been through that you feel like you want to share with our viewers?
All right, so when you told me about sharing a testimony, I was just thinking about a whole lot of things. But God wanted me to share this testimony with anyone that is watching. I remember when I was in high school, my second year in high school, I came home one day. I always loved to dance at church.
Okay.
So when I came home, I was praising and worship time. And anyone that knows me knows that Ima will always go out and dance whenever like music is on, gospel, I would dance. So I was dancing and I felt a very sharp pain at my tummy.
Wow.
A very sharp pain, boom, it just came out, like something just came out from me. And at that moment, I didn't know what was happening. Right? So 2 days later, I went back to school. 2 days later, I was feeling pains. I was really feeling pains in my tummy. And I was just praying, God, what is going on? What is really going on? And the voice of the Lord came to me. At that time, what God told me was, I don't know whether it was a cancer but it was a chronic disease that the devil wanted to plant there. But because I stood out, I came out when it was time for prayer, He healed me even before that thing came to light. So this is one thing that I want to share with people. Whenever you go to church, you don't have to look at people around you. Go out, sing, dance. When it's time for worship, when it's time for praises, the same zeal, the same excitement that you have for any music, you have to have for God too.
Right.
Because I, to be honest with you, I didn't know what I would have been through.
Right.
But the word came to me and it said that I healed you. I took that thing off. Even before that thing came to light, that I felt it myself, and the doctor was there. There was something wrong with you here. We cannot even see what is going on, but so God just told me. And less than some few hours, I was okay. God has really done a whole lot. And
wow. So even before that, you knew that something was going to be wrong with your body. God already came and healed you before that thing could even happen.
Right.
God is so amazing. One thing that I guess I'm getting from this discussion is that every time that you talk, you're talking about the voice of God. Like God keeps talking to you.
Right.
My question is, how do you decipher the voice of God from any other voice?
Okay.
Like how do you know that if you hear something, if you feel like something is speaking, how do you know if this is the voice of God or this is not the voice of God?
Interesting.
Is it always the positive things that are the voice of God, or is it just
the negative things? Okay. All right. So God speaks to us in two ways. One, the word of the Lord, the Bible that we read, is a voice of God.
Okay.
And two, we hear the voice of God. Two, anyone that has a relationship with God, God speaks to. Man, we should understand this. In every relationship on earth, there is communication.
Okay.
You cannot tell me you are in a relationship with me and you don't call me.
Okay.
If you are in a relationship with me, we have to talk every day. Not every day, we have to always spend time to talk.
Right.
The same way, anyone that comes to know the Lord and connect himself to the love of God, God speaks to the person. Then I come back to your question. How do you know that this voice is the voice of God, or this voice is the voice of man? Or how do the voice of God comes to man?
Yeah.
My experience, I don't know how God speaks to other people, but my experience, basically, most of the times, when I'm there and I'm not thinking about a particular thing,
Okay.
right? And that thing drops to me. Like I'm home, I'm not thinking about work, but a particular thing drops to me concerning work. Most of the time, it's the voice.
It's the voice of God. Okay.
You know, sometimes when you are in a haste, when you are making a decision, that is the reason why we say pray and wait on God.
Right.
Like you are making a decision concerning your marriage, right? You'll be praying about it and you have your mindset, because you don't have to deceive yourself. Sometimes you may be thinking about something and before you realize, you think that, oh, this is what God is telling me.
Okay.
But it's you, your instincts, because man is a spirit. And sometimes your body and your spirit speaks to you.
Right.
Right? But the beautiful thing is that when you are connected to God, God speaks to your spirit.
Right.
And your spirit make you the individual knows what he is saying. So this is what sometimes it happens. Like when you are praying about marriage, and after prayer you go, you may be there. You are not thinking about the thing that you were praying about, but there will be some words coming to you concerning the thing that you prayed about.
Okay.
We have to know that, you know, that is the reason why a lot of times people cannot differentiate between am I thinking about this myself or God is talking to me?
Right.
And we have clear vision that you may be there. The beautiful thing is that sometimes people find it difficult to call me because they don't know to call me a prophet. They don't know to call me a pastor or an evangelist, because God has blessed me with all this out here. So that is one thing on the surface. That is one thing that I'll always tell people, that whenever some words are coming to you on something that you are not thinking about at that particular time, what that it may be the voice of God.
Okay. That's really good. That's really, really good. So right now, I would like you to encourage somebody, or to basically encourage someone who might also be sick or might feel, some type of bodily illness or pains, and they don't know exactly what's wrong with them, but they're going through it. So what would you say to encourage that person that's going through an illness or a disease or sickness? What would you say to encourage them?
Wherever you are watching me from, one thing that you have to understand in life is this. God has a plan for you. God has a purpose for you. No matter what you are going through now, there is the future that God has created for you. And you have to live and enjoy that thing. Anything that you are going through, being pain, being hardship, I pray into your life that God will heal you. And you, the individual, you don't have to lose hope. Connect yourself to God. Pray until something happens. It may be a challenging moment today, but it may be a testimony tomorrow. So wherever you are, I don't know what you are going through, but God has something for you. Don't ever lose hope. Don't ever lose hope. Till the final day, pray until something happens, and God will definitely heal you. And we know He's the God that heals our wounds. He's the God that restores pain. He's the God that brings to light things that do not live or that do not exist. So you don't have to be worried. You don't have to get dismayed or anything. The Bible says God called Joshua and say, be strong and courageous.
Right.
Do not be dismayed. Alright. So you don't have to be dismayed. God has a plan for you.
Amen.
And whatever you are going through, I speak in the name of the Father. May that thing leave you in Jesus' mighty name.
Amen. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pastor Emmanuel, for blessing Abedons TV today with your presence. And we pray that may God continue to lift you up in your ministry. Thank you so much. God bless.
God bless you too. All right.